The story begins with visions of danger, hunger, discrimination, killing, and war. This is the hell that the main character calls home. The truth behind all of this is simple. It was because they were too weak. Then a barrage of gunfire echoes and bullets pierced to his body. His life ended the day his country fell, as everything slowly went black. Yet amid the darkness, he saw a bright light. A glowing hand reached out and resurrected him. When he opened his eyes, he was in a brand new world. 3 years have passed since he arrived here. He ponders if heaven is giving him a second chance to fix his short, crappy life. Today's the day, with 0 days left until the awakening ceremony. Inside the classroom, the teacher shouts at the students to get pumped because today is the big day, Aurora Academy's awakening ceremony. The instructor orders everyone to gather on the sports field, declaring that this moment will define their entire lives. The world had changed ever since dungeons appeared and monsters emerged everywhere. Humanity fought back through awakening classes, ranked C, B, A, and S. In this world, one's class is all that matters. On the field, Luna Laramont from the elite class has just awakened an S-rank class, the Purification Saint. Students cheer and talk about Luna, the heiress of the Veramont family who rules all of Aurora City, especially since she scored a 95 on her talent assessment, a score almost no one in the entire country could pull off. Next up is Pluto, the one everyone has been waiting for. For those who don't know him, it is revealed that Pluto has 200 talent points, the highest across all 3 academies in Aurora City. As Pluto walks forward, Luna passes by and tells him not to let him down, remarking on how he is still quiet as always. The awakening ceremony begins for Pluto. He is instructed to place his hand above the awakening orb. An Aurora Academy instructor watches and notes that as far as he knows, only one person in the world has 200 talent points, and that's Pluto. Having such talent is a true blessing. The Azure Dragon Guild, the #1 of the 5 great guilds in Nation A, gave 5 slots and Pluto was at the top of every test. If he awakens an S-rank class, a spot in the guild is guaranteed. A guild spot means power, status, and a guaranteed future. Joining the Azure Dragon Guild is the ultimate glory that every professional dreams of. But most importantly, Azure Dragon is the only guild built by the nation itself, making it the military. In his previous life, Pluto was merely a soldier of a weak nation who ended up dying like trash when the great powers invaded. This time, he is determined to make himself and his country strong, and to become the strongest in this world. As Pluto places his hand on the orb, it emits an extremely intense light. Everyone watching the energy blast is convinced that he must be getting an S-rank class. However, as the light clears, the result reveals the Necromancer class. A dead silence falls over the crowd. Students are shocked because Necromancer is widely known as the worst C-rank class. Pluto initially questions where he messed up to end up with a C-rank class, looking at his base stats of 10 in strength, mana, agility, and defense. The instructor, who previously held high hopes for him, turns away in disappointment. Looking at his skill screen, Pluto's Necromantic Soldier skill originally allows him to spend 1 MP to summon 1 soldier every 30 minutes, capped at a maximum of 1 soldier. Suddenly, a system notification pops up stating the restriction removal qualification has been acquired. The summoning limit is completely removed, leaving no limit at all on his necromantic soldiers. A necromancer's usual weakness is the force cooldown of 1 summon every 30 minutes, regardless of MP. But now with no limit, Pluto can use his 10 MP to summon 10 soldiers instantly. As he levels up, his summons will only get stronger, turning him into a true one-man army. Pluto realizes this single change is enough to crush any S rank, and decides he will ace his interview in 1 month. His thoughts are interrupted by the instructor telling him to move along since the ceremony is over. Pluto notes how quickly their attitude changed after seeing his C-rank class, but feels confident that grinding dungeons will be a piece of cake. As Pluto walks away, other students whisper about him smiling, thinking reality has broken his mind. A student named Adrian Blackwood, who awakened as an A rank, approaches Pluto to mock him, telling Pluto to be his dog and pet. Adrian and his female companion laugh mockingly, but Pluto simply walks past, deciding Adrian isn't worth his breath.
Once Adrian leaves, Luna approaches Pluto and offers to carry him through level grinding. Pluto asks if carrying a C rank like him wouldn't be a pain for an S rank like her. Luna immediately rejects that thought, telling him she has full faith in him, convinced that someone with 200 talent points couldn't possibly be just a regular necromancer. Pluto gently lets go of Luna's hand and declines her offer. He is determined to join Azure Dragon on his own terms. For Pluto, if he can't write in on a high-tier class, there's only one way left: reaching levels that crush every other rookie out there, whether they are A rank or S rank. Pluto then heads to the Aurora Academy Dungeon Hall. The place is packed with newly awakened rookies eager to test their chops right away. Pluto recalls from class that the fastest way to level up from level 1 to level 5 is through the sequence trials. In the sequence trials, monsters scale from level 1 to level 5, and challengers must enter solo. Once committed to the next wave, there's no backing out until it is cleared or the challenger dies trying. Usually, only high ranks or suicide cases step up to this challenge, but the experience gained is way higher than normal dungeons. Pluto's entry into the sequence trials shocks the elite class homeroom teacher and the surrounding students. The teacher panics, thinking Pluto has snapped and seeking death due to the gap between his talent and his C rank awakening. Though trying to reassure herself that Pluto isn't the type to take the easy way out, she decides to wait nearby in case backup is needed. Meanwhile, Pluto stands inside the sequence trials, right in the safe zone. The moment he steps out into combat mode, he is confronted by a pack of level 1 Void Hounds. Pluto realizes why rookies avoid this place. There are 10 level 1 monsters waiting on the very lowest floor.
Without hesitation, Pluto activates his necromantic soldier skill. As his summons appear, he commands them to focus fire on the front hounds. His necromancer soldiers strike down the monsters, granting Pluto experience points. Seeing the result, Pluto confirms that as long as he can spam multiple soldiers, these mobs are completely manageable. As he continues summoning soldiers using his remaining mana, Pluto reflects on how quickly people's attitudes shifted from treating him as the center of attention to making him the butt of every joke. The condescending looks he receives now reminds him of his past life, when invaders looked down on his people as an inferior race, unfit to even be slaves. Pluto vows never to let that happen again. C rank or not, he is going to become the strongest. With his mana completely spent, all 10 necromantic soldiers stand fully summoned around him. Pluto calculates that 10 MP yielding 10 necromantic soldiers should be enough to clear floor 1. He sets a strategy of assigning 2 soldiers per hound for maximum efficiency. His plan works smoothly as the skeleton soldiers swiftly take down the Void Hounds one by one, granting 20 EXP per kill. Seeing the EXP rate, Pluto is confident he can hit level 1 under 10 minutes easily. Furthermore, his MP regenerates at a rate of 1 MP per minute, meaning 10 minutes is enough for a full regeneration. He visualizes having an entire skeleton army soon, then orders his soldiers to charge and finish off the remaining Void Hounds. Thanks to the rapid kills, Pluto levels up to level 1 much faster than expected. Reaching a new level grants him 5 free stat points and a 30% MP recovery. Realizing that MP is his ultimate lifeline, Pluto dumps all 5 stat points into MP, raising his stat from 10 to 15. With his MP increased to 15, he can now maintain 15 summons at once. He then moves forward to floor 2, where he immediately encounters level 2 Grey Wolves. His skeleton soldiers quickly strike down a wolf, granting 40 EXP. Knowing he is still a glass cannon, Pluto stays cautious and keeps a few soldiers on guard around him. The battle continues until Pluto levels up again to level 2. He immediately pours his new stat points into MP once more, boosting it from 15 to 20. Pluto notes how broken solo sequence grinding is, creating a solid loop. More soldiers lead to faster kills, higher levels, and even more soldiers. Pluto ventures deeper and across level 4 mud horses. Although these horses pack enough power to destroy his skeleton soldiers, Pluto remains unbothered since soldiers are the one thing he has in abundance. His skeleton army swarms the enemies, reaching a total of 30 summoned soldiers, and completely wipes out the mud horses. Following the stream of kills, a bright light engulfs Pluto as he reaches level 5. At that moment, another system prompt appears, announcing a new restriction has been lifted, the evolution lock.
This effect allows a summoned soldier that kills an enemy to permanently absorb the target and trigger an evolution into an undead version of that monster. With this new feature unlocked, Pluto smirks as he realizes his army will gain immense variety as his kill count rises, making him the king of the underworld. He then remembers that necromancers gain a new skill every 5 levels. Checking his status, he unlocks Gunpowder Skeleton, a skill that turns a skeleton into a suicide bomber that rushes enemies and detonates for AoE damage in a 16-foot radius. Pluto can't wait to test his new skill in the level 5 trial. In the area, a pack of level 5 blackback beasts appears. Pluto realizes that standard soldiers would take forever to chip through their thick hides, making them the perfect test subjects for his gunpowder skeletons. Pluto snaps his fingers, converting his skeleton soldiers into flaming undead carrying barrels of gunpowder overhead. Though he thinks they look pretty janky, Pluto doesn't care as long as the explosion hits hard. The explosive skeletons sprint forward and detonate right against the blackback beasts. A massive blast erupts, instantly taking down the monsters and granting 100 EXP per kill. Pluto is amazed by the damage output. He notes that he needs to boost his MP to spam these gunpowder skeletons and urgently needs proper caster gear. Since sequence trials only grant EXP without any loot drops, Pluto steps out of the sequence trials. Pluto walking out of the sequence trials completely unharmed leaves his homeroom teacher in absolute shock. She is even more stunned upon realizing he hit level 5 in just 1 hour. Suspecting there is far more to Pluto despite his C-rank status due to his 200 talent points, she rushes to report this to Aurora Academy principal Julian Kingsley.
Julian, buried in paperwork after the awakening ceremony, is initially annoyed to be dragged into discussing a C-rank student when they have an S rank and 6 A ranks. However, the teacher explains that a level 0 necromancer entered these sequence trials and hit level 5 in an hour, something impossible since a single necromantic soldier should get torn to shreds by voidhounds. Julian is left speechless, wondering how Pluto managed it. Meanwhile, Pluto visits a pro shop to check out equipment. He finds professional gear priced exorbitantly high, with even the cheapest staff costing 10 gold. Realizing he can't afford it yet, Pluto decides he must farm dungeons for equipment. Arriving at the dungeon hall, Pluto overhears that a full team just got wiped out in the level 5 giant Rhino Mountain dungeon. Since level 5 is the highest he can challenge right now, Pluto selects gold difficulty to test the waters. Stepping into the canyon-like dungeon, Pluto immediately invokes his necromantic soldier skill. With his MP currently at 35 plus natural regeneration, his soldier count grows continuously as they march along the cliffs. Pluto's skeleton army engages a horde of level 5 giant rock rhinos. While normal attacks clear out the smaller rhinos, the main giant rock rhino boasts immense defense that renders physical attacks ineffective. Knowing he isn't a one-trick pony, Pluto casts Gunpowder Skeleton to convert his troops into walking bombs. The series of gunpowder explosions easily bypasses the giant rock rhino's high defense, blowing it apart and awarding Pluto 100 EXP. Explosion after explosion continues to take down the giant rock rhinos, granting 100 EXP each until Pluto reaches level 6 with his EXP bar sitting at 33%. Pluto calculates that defeating the area boss should easily push him straight to level 7. Suddenly, the massive giant rock rhino king appears with a deafening roar. Pluto is caught off guard by the sheer size of the level 5 boss. However, Pluto notices his surrounding setup, where nearly 100 gunpowder skeleton bombs are locked, loaded, and surrounding the boss right in his kill zone. Without giving it a second to react, the entire horde of gunpowder skeletons rushes in and detonates at once. The catastrophic explosion vaporizes the giant rock Rhino King before it can even move, awarding Pluto 5,000 EXP and instantly boosting him from level 6 to level 7. Amidst the blast debris, a glowing weapon drops from the sky. It is the giant rock staff of epic quality, granting an additional 10 defense and 30 MP. Pluto is thrilled to get a loot drop on his very first run, especially in epic caster gear that fits his needs perfectly.
Pluto recalls the gear tier hierarchy, ranging from common, rare, epic, legendary to unique. Knowing that rare gear starts at a minimum of 100 gold, landing an epic drop for free is absolute insane luck. The 10 defense compensates for his fragile state, while the 30 extra MP combined with dumping all his new level of stat points into MP raises his total MP to 75. With 75 MP, Pluto can now summon up to 75 soldiers all at once. Upon exiting the dungeon, Pluto is confronted once again by Adrian Blackwood in the hallway. Adrian smugly repeats his offer for Pluto to become his pet, mocking Pluto under the assumption that he was just camping outside the dungeon because no party would carry a C-rank trash like him. Adrian even flaunts his rare gear alongside hurling vulgar insults alongside his group. His companions laugh along, urging Pluto to accept the offer so he doesn't end up dying miserable and alone. Having completely lost his patience, Pluto leans in with a cold, piercing gaze and tells Adrian to fuck off. Pluto's sharp response catches Adrian off guard, sending him into rage. Furious at being talked down to, Adrian aggressively grabs Pluto by the collar. His female companion quickly tries to hold him back, reminding him that they are inside the dungeon hall where fighting is strictly prohibited. Starting a brawl here would mean doing serious time behind bars.
The commotion catches the attention of the hall security guards, who immediately step in and demand everyone disperse. Adrian quickly changes his tune, fake smiling and claiming they were just old classmates messing around. Before walking away, Adrian leans in and sneers that Pluto got lucky inside the hall, threatening to finish him off if they meet outside. Pluto quietly reflects that if the guards hadn't intervened, he would have splattered Adrian on the spot. A security guard approaches Pluto, assuring him that trash like Adrian isn't worth his time, and offering help if they bother him again. The guard then warns Pluto that Giant Rhino Mountain is far too high level for him, suggesting level 1 Bunny Meadow instead. However, as he looks closer, the guard freezes upon noticing the epic tier Giant Rock Staff in Pluto's hand. Knowing that item only drops from the Giant Rock Rhino King on gold difficulty or higher, the guard realizes in utter disbelief that this C-rank kid just soloed Giant Rhino Mountain. Unbothered by the guard's shock, Pluto turns and steps straight back into the portal. Remembering that each dungeon has a limit of 4 daily runs, Pluto is determined to pick up the pace and burn through all his entries to maximize his leveling speed. Watching him vanish into the dungeon, the guard stands stunned, realizing this student has accomplished something even S ranks couldn't achieve. Inside the dungeon, Pluto repeatedly unleashes his explosive gunpowder skeleton army to bombard the Giant Rock Rhino King. Continuous explosions blast the Giant Rock Rhino King to pieces, showering Pluto with 5,000 EXP per clear. Pluto systematically repeats the loop until all his daily attempts are completely exhausted. From his daily grinding session, Pluto amasses a vast inventory of gear loot. Although none of it fits his specific class, he resolves to sell the X-ray equipment later for cash. With his daily runs finished, Pluto exits the portal with his stats skyrocketing to level 9, boasting 85 MP and 20 defense thanks to his gear bonuses.
The next morning, Aurora Academy is buzzing with intense energy for the Rookie Professional Test. Students chatter excitedly about observers sent from the Azure Dragon Guild who will select the top 5 prospects. Nearby students boast about their progress, with most having reached level 2 to level 4 after grinding all day. Pluto overhears their bragging and chuckles quietly to himself, knowing the massive level gap between him and the rest of the class. Adrian Blackwood approaches Pluto once again, with his companion, wearing a condescending smirk. Adrian boasts that he farmed all day yesterday to hit level 3, then mockingly asks Pluto if he managed to find anyone willing to carry a C-rank trash. Pluto maintains his composure and ignores the taunts. Shortly after, the Academy instructor silences the crowd and officially announces the start of the Rookie Professional Test. He declares that the Azure Dragon Guild will pick the top 5 prospects, and the top candidate will receive a bonus epic quality gear straight from the Academy. High above on the balcony, Principal Julian Kingsley, alongside the guild observers, overlooked the gathered crowd of students. Elder Aaron Crawley, one of the most senior professionals in Azure Dragon, whose mana flows endlessly like an inexhaustible fountain, leads the test. He explains the rules. Each student enters a test room where Elder Crawley continuously spawns summons in every room. Students have 30 minutes, with each kill earning 1 point, and final rankings determined by the total score. Hearing the rules, the students panic because they are all under level 5, while Elder Crawley is over level 70. Elder Crawley reassures them by locking all summons at level 1, so they are manageable, adding that he can control each summon individually to stop the test if anyone feels overwhelmed. Relieved, the students cheer, ready to go all out. Amid the crowd, Adrian approaches Pluto again, mocking that even a single kill will be a struggle for a C-rank trash like him. He challenges him not to run away once he secures a spot in the top 5. Pluto calmly responds, proposing a bet right then on who ranks higher.
Adrian bursts out laughing at the thought of Pluto comparing ranks with him. Since Pluto proposed the game, Adrian sets the loser's penalty. The loser must crawl on the floor and bark like a dog in front of the whole school. Without hesitation, Pluto agrees to the terms. The Aurora Academy Day 1 Rookie Professional Test officially kicks off. All students enter their assigned test rooms. Once everyone is in position and the teleporter rays are active, Elder Aaron Crawley, Vice Chairman of the Azure Dragon Guild, activates his skill to spawn the summons. Inside his test room, Pluto faces the first wave consisting of level 1 bronze soldiers. Pluto invokes his necromantic soldiers to enter the fight. His skeleton soldiers crush the bronze soldiers easily. Pluto notes that if his summoning limit hadn't been removed and he only had 1 soldier, these 5 bronze soldiers would have been a pain. Sensing that someone cleared 5 bronze soldiers instantly, Elder Crawley is intrigued and decides to ramp up the numbers. More bronze soldiers spawn in Pluto's room, but Pluto keeps things fast and under control by assigning 1 skeleton against 2 bronze soldiers. Elder Crawley is shocked again, as 10 bronze soldiers crumble instantly. He praises Principal Julian, remarking that the academy has some talented students. Curious, Julian and the homeroom teacher pull up the leaderboard to check who is leading. They are stunned to see Pluto holding the rank 1 spot with 15 points, surpassing everyone else. Pluto's score continues climbing every second, passing 20 and hitting 23 points. The homeroom teacher smiles, proven right, while Julian remains in disbelief, wondering if Pluto broke past his class limits because of his 200 talent points. Remembering that he was the city's top scorer with only 99 talent, Elder Crawley views Pluto as a diamond in the rough and decides to give him a push. Back in the room, Pluto considers 10 bronze soldiers zero threat compared to giant Rhino Mountain. Suddenly, an intense surge of magic from Elder Crawley spawns an insanely dense horde of bronze soldiers. Pluto was taken aback by the massive density, but smirks as he summons 30 skeleton soldiers at once, ready to see whose army is stronger in a numbers game.